Hi, everybody. We are so excited today to have the opportunity. We get to talk to Tina from Ohio National today. Tina, do you want to kind of introduce yourself, talk about who you are and what you do?
Sure. My name is Tina Keller. I work at Ohio National Financial Services. We're a large insurance company based in Cincinnati, Ohio. And my formal role is a operations project analyst. So I work with different departments to help them bring projects for their areas to fruition. And that's my primary role. However, I have been tasked to be the RPA project manager. When our RPA program started, I brought that into Ohio National and have been kind of a dual role project operations analyst and then also a project manager.
How did you become an RPA project manager? Had you had any experience with RPA before?
No, so I had never heard of RPA. I had heard some, whispers about robotics, but I'd never been involved in anything that had to do with RPA. In fact, I don't have an IT background or robotics background at all.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you've been able to develop the skills to program these software bots?
Sure. So as I mentioned, I have no IT experience. We have a Salix consultant that came in. His name is Alan Blevins. He's been huge, very instrumental in kind of teaching me the ropes. Early on, I was very green, and I spent a lot of time shadowing him, asking questions, getting the experience that I needed. And with him, we actually created a certification program at Ohio National to further train other people that would be coming onto the program. And really, he was a huge, huge part of it. Secondary to that, I fully immersed myself in RPA. So I got into it. I played with the program. I really learned what do all of the actions do, how can they be beneficial. And then after I kind of felt like I got my feet wet and I was doing good, I learned how to go out to Softomotive's resources and really start getting a little more technical experience. I don't have to know how to necessarily read the programming, but they lay it out in a very clean way that I can understand how the actions work without having to understand the underlying technical programming nuances. So it's been, because I like it and because I really wanted to learn it, I just gone head in and self-taught a lot of those skills to learn how to develop.
Tell me about some of the processes that you've automated.
Sure. So the first one that I always like to share, because it's such an exciting one, is we have a terminations project, and this process, when manually processed, it takes approximately 10 minutes to process one termination, and they have a high volume of these transactions that come through. In any given month, they can have 1,000 to 1,500.
Wow.
So I was really excited to bring that to RPA and look to see how we could improve making that done through a robot. And we were able to get that done where it processes them in a minute. So the time savings is huge, and the fact that they have high volume and high transactions is really exciting. So I really like that one. I had some experience in that area, so it was neat to be able to use some of the experience I had with the system, but in a new way, building the robot. And then another one that I always like to share, and it's such a simple process, but the benefits are great, is we have a department that once a month, they manually create 35 subfolders for the new month. And it's a tedious process. They would manually go in and manually create each of these folders. And we were able to create a bot that took the 15 minutes to create those 35 subfolders, and the bot does it in 15 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's super exciting because not only is it time savings, I mean, that's very evident, but also it took away that mundane, tedious work that those employees were doing every month. And I feel like it gives them more time to feel empowered with what they are doing with their day. I feel like there's a far better associate influence there that we can not only, take away that tedious work, but also make them feel like what they're doing is more important than creating a folder once a month. So I really like that.
Tell me about, so how has RPA impacted you for just your own job satisfaction?
And then I've also learned how to bring excitement from other areas into a project. That's never something that I've been involved with because it's always been my project. So now I'm, pulling people in and sharing with them, RPA is great. Here's what we can do for you. Let me know what processes you have. How can I help you bring this to fruition? And that's been really exciting. And while it's had challenges, it's also giving me greater satisfaction at the end of the day that I feel like I'm really doing something great for the company. That's been really nice.
Well, that's all the questions that I have for you today. Thank you so much for your time.
Yep, thank you very much. I appreciate it.